Hello, my name is Mel. Today I want to take you through how you would include Auslan signing in the introduction to a group fitness class. Now, a little disclaimer here. I'm not formally trained in Auslan. I am reasonably fluent in French, Spanish, and also German, but as far as being formally trained in Auslan goes, no. What I've done is I've looked up the signs on the internet and I've learned how to put them into a class introduction context. I should also just mention that what I'll be doing will not be word for word. If you were watching the news bulletins during the bushfire crisis, you would have seen the Auslan signers there. Now, one of them did an interview, and he even confirmed that they do not sign word for word. They sign the meaning of what's being said. So that's essentially what I'll be doing at that point. So I'm first of all going to show you how I do a class introduction, and then I'm going to pull it apart so you can understand the why behind it. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Women Jekka, or welcome to Aqua. My name is Mel. I will be taking the class. Now, if you have any injuries or medical conditions, then you should have medical clearance before you do a class. I should just double check if there is anyone completely new. Very good. Let's get a start. So the first bit, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm using the sign for hello. It's just simpler to do it that way. Ladies and gentlemen, I am being rather formal there. And actually for the Auslan sign, I'm actually not using the word for ladies and gentlemen. I'm using the word for everybody. I do like to be a little bit formal in my spoken introduction, however. I like to acknowledge the fact that people are generally spending their disposable income to be in my class. They're also giving up their time in a time-poor world. So giving a little bit of a formal introduction just helps to acknowledge that. Women Jekka, or welcome. So Women Jekka is the Aboriginal word for welcome in my area of Melbourne. So I like to include that in my class because along with wanting to include vision impaired people and also hearing impaired people and also people who may not understand what's going on, so people from other countries, I also like to acknowledge that our First Nations people may well be in my class. And that's my way of doing that. So the word class, or the word which I use for aqua, more accurately, it's actually the word for class. I don't know what the word for aqua, cycle, or Pilates is or are in Auslan. If anyone knows it, feel free to let me know, but it is not, or they aren't in the dictionary online. So the word class suffices at that point. My name is Mel. I also don't know what the word for Mel is in Auslan. So once again, leave that blank. And I sometimes include taking the class. It's a new addition I've made, so sometimes I add it in, sometimes I don't. It takes a bit of time to get the hang of including all this in. At first, you might just want to start with the first little bit and then add to it. Now, if you have any injuries or medical conditions, so this is a sign for injuries. I don't know what the word for medical conditions is. Then you should have medical clearance. So this is the sign for medical. Sorry, I don't do medical conditions as well because I've already signed the word. I've got to sign the word for medical anyway. So medical clearance. So I don't know what the word for clearance is in Auslan. And realistically, the word for clearance could be very hard to translate. So a medical note, it's close enough. Before you do, so this is actually the word for join. So they're joining a class. Looks like a chain. So joining the class. Should just double check if there is anyone completely new. So that's a sign for new. No, we're good. So I don't know if the thumbs up is actually the sign for good in Auslan, but in most English-speaking countries, it is known as the sign for we're good, we're happy. So I run with that. Let's get a start. So as you can see, it's relatively simple. And like I said earlier, if you were to start doing this, you might just want to do the first little bit in Auslan and then cut it for a bit. Add signs as you get more confident. As you do that, you will get more confident, I promise you. When you're learning a language and you get your confidence up, you tend to just want to learn more and more. And I speak as someone who's passionate about learning languages. Yes, I mentioned that I speak French, Spanish, and German fairly fluently. I also am trying to learn how to say hello and thank you in almost all of the languages which are represented in my classes, which is a tough gig, I will admit. And I'm going to be talking about that in my next video. So stay tuned, stay cool, have a good day. Bye-bye.